As we kick off a new trading week, all eyes are on Washington, D.C. Here on Wall Street, U.S. stocks are struggling for gains. Joining me now is Peter Cardillo of First Standard Financial. Peter, great to have you here today.
Good to be back.
Well, we had the presidential inauguration at the end of last week. Since then, we have seen comments coming out from D.C. alongside some protests throughout this country. But regarding comments on trade as well as regulation, where do you stand right now?
Well, obviously we're a divided nation right now, but the point of the fact is that, Trump did address businessmen today, and he basically said that he is likely to do away with about 75% of the regulations, or perhaps even more, which is a good thing because regulations are never helpful when they're overdone. Of course, there's the other side to it, and you need regulations. So I suspect that it's going to be favorable in terms of perhaps doing away with some of the unnecessary regulations. And so I think that's a step in the right direction.
And Peter, this morning when we looked at the foreign exchange markets, we saw the U.S. currency weaker against most of the major currencies. And depending on who you spoke to around the globe, there was some concern about the protectionist rhetoric coming out from Donald Trump. But when we saw the British pound, we're seeing a surge in that currency against the majors, and this comes ahead of the U.K. Supreme Court voting tomorrow. So what are you expecting to get out of that?
Well, to begin with, obviously, the dollar's given up a lot here of its recent strong rally, and that's due because people are fearing that we are going to have protectionism. And, of course, that's never good for the markets. It's certainly not good for the U.S. economy. It's certainly not good for the global economy. And so we're seeing this, you might want to call it a correction in the U.S. dollar, because the dollar has gone up strongly, and I kind of suspect that it's a temporary situation.
And Peter, last but not least, we can't forget that it is also earnings season. Now we've been getting results, and we'll continue to get results this week, but what are your expectations?
Well, I'm a little surprised the market has really not reacted to earnings, except perhaps on an individual basis, like we saw last Friday. IBM basically was bid up because of their earnings, but for the amount of earnings that we got so far, they haven't been, and I'm referring to the larger cap stocks, they haven't been bad at all. We saw even McDonald's, that's somewhat surprised today, came in 2 cents higher, and even the bottom line was a little bit better. There was more sales, which led to more revenue. So, I think as a whole, earnings season is going to be okay. I think we're going to see growth somewhere between maybe 3 and 5% in corporate earnings. But will it really have an effect on the market? Until we get to know exactly where we're headed with the new administration, and until we get to see confirmation of Mr. Trump's nominees, I think the market is just going to reflect on the political situation rather than the macro or stock market fundamentals.
Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining me. It's only Monday, so I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about when you join me again next week. Thank you.
Thank you.